Okay, so we are live. So welcome everyone who's joining. And remember, this video will be shareable afterwards. So feel free to share it and tune in afterwards as well if you missed the live broadcast. So welcome to the next installment of What's Your Story? Check-in with the 3S Award winners. So this is held by the Global Sourcing Council. So the Global Sourcing Council, we're an organization that seeks to transform the world where business embraces profit with purpose. We focus on sustainable, socially responsible global business. We empower organizations around the globe to operate responsibly and develop innovative solutions that pursue profit with purpose. Every year we hold our 3S Awards, which is a global empowerment platform for small to mid-size profit with purpose business enterprises. And we recognize individuals, organizations that have demonstrated exceptional social and economic leadership in innovating, improving, and implementing sustainable and socially responsible sourcing practices. So I'm Andrew Budsock. I'm a board member at GSC, and it's my pleasure to welcome today Thrive Impact Sourcing. So here we have the co-founders, Kelly Dolan and Michael Krager of Thrive Impact Sourcing, who were the third place Social Impact via Technology Innovation Award winners, which is the category recognizing enterprises that leverage technology and innovation and create social and environmental impact. So welcome Kelly and Michael. Thanks so much for joining us. So just to kind of get into it right away, what's the story of Thrive? How did Thrive begin?
So Thrive began actually just 18 months ago. So we're 18 months in now. And it began out of a business need that we have not only in Cincinnati, Ohio, but really nationally and internationally, is a lack of IT talent. And we combine that lack of IT talent and trying to figure out solutions around how do we find better talent, more committed talent, and just more of it here in the local area. And at the same time, we also have a passion for serving the community and to find out how we use our business as a force for good. We are a certified B Corp at Thrive, and so that's a critical measure to our success is our impact on the greater good. So with Thrive and the lack of IT resources, we also noticed the opportunity to try to free people from situations of poverty here locally. And so we train people coming out of poverty with IT skills and the advancement of IT skills. And then as Thrive, we become the employer post-training.
Great. So what did you do before Thrive that allowed you to kind of observe that there was this need that really needed to be, this kind of gap that could be filled?
Yeah, Kelly and I went through what we joke as a professional midlife crisis about 7 years ago, where we decided to leave our mainstream management and IT consulting jobs and started another firm called Engage Partners. And the idea behind that, again, was also to build strong communities where we actually give away a large percentage of our profits, thousands of hours of pro bono services, et cetera. So still doing something kind of mainstream in that management and IT space, but just trying to choose to do it differently. And so it was at our 5-year mark at that organization that we decided that we can kind of take this to the whole next level. Instead of measuring impact in terms of dollars given and hours donated, we started measuring our impact and lives changed. So that's kind of the idea for Thrive was born.
That's great. So that was kind of like your aha moment of this is something that we can really work towards.
Right.
That's great. So with Thrive and being that you said 18 months old, what's been your biggest challenge in terms of starting?
There's lots of challenges, obviously. So we grew from 0 employees 18 months ago to now we are close to 75 people. So just in that alone, the infrastructure, the support, the finances, et cetera, to grow that rapidly has certainly been a challenge, but a good one. But probably the biggest surprise challenge that we had is going out to the marketplace and being able to tell the story of what we're doing, of trying to transform lives through giving opportunities of employment, opportunities of training in a high-tech world. We thought, it was just a brilliant idea, right? When we went into it, and we've had lots and lots of people sharing that same mentality of, wow, that's great. I'm so glad you guys are doing that. But it's transferring that good sentiment and that conversation into action and commitment. That's been the biggest challenge in corporate America, trying to break down the barriers of traditional HR practices You have to have a 4-year degree. You have to have this particular skill set. And getting beyond that barrier and help people understand that there's a talent pool that exists in our marketplace, very, very strong, eager, phenomenal talent. But we have to provide different opportunities to try to get those people on a better path. And so that's really been our challenge, is how to message it to the broader marketplace for businesses that aren't necessarily like-minded like we are.
Sure. So you kind of touched on this before, that there seems to be this mismatch where you have people that are eager to work, they want to work, but they don't have the skills of the jobs that are available to them. So is this something that you kind of observed throughout your time as IT professionals, part of a larger a larger pattern? And then the people that you do start to work with, are they generally younger, kind of like a youth unemployment issue or lack of training or something like that?
Yeah, I'll start with the idea of I think what it takes to be successful in IT. There's a lot of different factors to that, but some of it really comes down to just having the right preparation, and then having that preparation meet an opportunity. So when we kind of broke it down to try to bring people into this industry, we said, well, what are those things that we could help prepare individuals for to be able to jump into that? And so for us, that was a software quality assurance path. We thought that was a great path to be able to start in the industry, start delivering real world value, and then you could start to continue to advance your skills to other fields like development, business analysis, and other roles in the application development field. And so then the opportunity part was one where we said, okay, in order to create real opportunity as business owners, that's where we can play a role in actually creating Thrive, and actually for being that employer that is bringing in individuals, that's providing the right mentoring and senior leadership to pair with them to continue that growth, to go down that path. And what we found, quite frankly, in these 18 months, is that we've had individuals as young as 19, and we've had individuals as old as 63, everywhere in between. Probably the bulk of them, about a third of them are probably falling in the late 20s to mid 30s. Is probably where a majority are, but we truly have found kind of that full gamut. And the other piece of that is that these are individuals that are well prepared to do a lot of different things. It just might not have been IT originally. And so realizing there weren't the opportunities in the fields that they originally pursued, it's about trying to figure out a different path to get to the place they want to be successful.
Sure.
As far as diversity, to your question there, IT is not notorious for its diversity. We intentionally work on that every day. What we've come across with Thrive, it's an incredibly diverse community of people. As Michael mentioned, age range is very widespread. We have an even split between male and female. That's very uncommon in IT. And then even from a race standpoint, we have every nationality, every race that you can imagine coming in. We have former refugees in our staff. We have, people that have lived abroad all over, as well as here, that have grown up in Cincinnati.
That's fantastic. So going into that, talking about your local community and getting people part of your program and employment, what's your process of entering some of these communities? Because sometimes, it's difficult for people to enter a training program that they might not be aware of. So what kind of partnerships, or how do you go about that?
We have a partnership here locally, actually 2 different partners, an organization called CityLink. Think of that as a social services mall. It's a very unique, innovative model in the United States. And so that's here in Cincinnati. And one of their nonprofit partners in that mall is an organization called Perscolis. They're now a national organization. They've been around for 20 years. So they have become our IT partner, and CityLink has become that funnel of how we're actually able to attract talent to the program.
Great. So they already almost have a sense of trust built with the community already.
Exactly.
Okay, that's really great.
And one-to-one relationships with coordinators that know their story, know their needs, and know their desires of where they want to go in the future. So that's already preset for us as an employer coming in. We have that information at our fingertips.
Great. So how do you think that your work generally might be helping or have an impact on urban communities? And I guess like even more broadly, do you think like your model could really be used? And you think that there's really like, do you think that there's a missed opportunity essentially in a lot of these communities? Because it seems like you're really addressing that issue.
We absolutely think that there is a tremendous opportunity for this model. So impact sourcing is not a new concept. It's newer, but not a new concept. We're certainly not the first ones to do it. But as far as we know, we're the first ones to do it in an urban environment. So you typically see that happening in rural environments, not only domestically, but internationally. And for us to do it on an urban environment, take Cincinnati, we have 71,000 people that live in poverty every day. Mm-hmm. So if you take a subset of that 71,000, there's a lot of talent there that have been underemployed or unemployed that could be tapped into and retrained into these IT positions. Yeah,
that's great. And it seems like, in being an IT field, the skills that and the experience that your employees are receiving, they're really, it's a long-term career trajectory. It's not just a short-term solution. And I think that's also really, really great and really important.
Well, and typically in a lot of the urban settings, especially as we're trying to combat the poverty issue, mm-hmm. we're taking a population where, almost 70% are unemployed coming in, and they're starting day one with almost $50,000 in compensation and benefits. And then they go through a process of every 6 months, they're able to increase that as they continue to demonstrate additional skills. And so it's those types of things of creating that economic opportunity for them to grow, not only in their own skills and providing for their families, but they're now demonstrating a completely different behavior for that next generation. And so we think the impacts are large today, but the largest impacts are going to be down the road.
Sure. So then kind of going from that, how do you measure success and impact in the work that you do?
There's a number of metrics that we use, and we're really trying to develop people along 3 core paths: their technical capacity, their technical skill set, their professional skill set, as well as personally, and putting measurements to all 3. How are we advancing their skills technically? So we do a lot of internal training, even post the boot camp that they come out of as new employees. We continue to do that training here on site. On the professional capabilities, we actually have a full-time staff member that their whole role is professional development and personal development. So actually forming a relationship one-to-one with our analysts coming in. What are the barriers? What do they need to improve on? Communication skills or written skills or whatever the case might be. And then personally, do there continue to be barriers in their life? Transportation, childcare, housing arrangements, et cetera. All the barriers that we know to be huge impacts in employment, long-term employment. That's what we're trying to be a partner to our analysts to make sure they're able to get through. And so all of those, it's, measuring kind of day one, where were they? 6 months in, where are they today? 12 months in, where have they come from and where are they today? So that's getting off of social services support. That might be they bought their very first car that they've ever had in their life, or they moved into more stable housing. And so there's a lot of key measurements that we're looking at, because it's important for us to provide jobs, but it's also important for us to make sure that we're moving the needle. Are we actually having people come from a place of poverty to thriving? That's really the real measurement for us in success.
Then in addition to that, we also want to do it in a profitable way, because we do believe strongly in using business as a force for good. So we want to be able to capture all the metrics that Kelly just described and show the large impact we're having in the community, at the same time showing that we can be a profitable organization doing it. And so that's one that we want to see replicated, whether that's here in Cincinnati or in geographic areas, throughout the country. Been approached and have had conversations with multiple cities that are interested in doing something like this. And we're excited to see this idea grow and expand.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So if you could share one piece of advice for upcoming social entrepreneurs or social enterprises, what would it be?
I'll give you my couple words of wisdom, and maybe Michael has something different. But for us is really matching your social purpose with the business value. it has to be hand in hand. It can't be social purpose first, unfortunately. It has to be what business value do you actually add to the marketplace, and also measuring your social value that you're bringing to the community as well.
Yeah, really, I'll say it's the same thing slightly differently. You need to have a business model that's sustainable. So don't do it thinking you're going to try to save this one thing, this one cause, or whatever. You need to have a sustainable business model that just happens to think and act differently around how you execute on that business model. And the reason I think that's so critical is that it's not about saying business is bad today. It's just that we're not executing on it the best way that we can. So, my challenge to any social enterprises is you don't need to think of a completely different industry or a completely different company. Take one that exists today and just do it differently and do it better.
Yeah, I think that's a great piece of advice. Another question would be, what does pursuing profit with purpose mean to you? And I think we kind of touched on this, but.
Yeah, I think we touched on it as well. Pursuing profit and purpose, and that's the reason we get up every day. That's the reason we're entrepreneurs. That's the reason we have businesses, because we are so passionate and we have a belief system and really proven experience related to we're profitable, we're growing, we're really thriving as organizations pursuing this path. And so for us, it means it's really the purpose of why we get up and go to work every day.
But I think it's one of the number one issues with most businesses is that their employees don't feel like they have enough purpose in their day-to-day. And I think for us here at Thrive, it's real simple why we get up and go to work every day. Yes, we want to deliver good quality IT services, et cetera, but we get up every day because we want to build stronger communities. That's my purpose. And I'm able to play a role in this particular organization that allows me to build stronger communities. So having that attachment, we don't really worry about employee engagement a tremendous amount. We've been, even though it's only 18 months old, we've already been recognized as the best place to work in the city of Cincinnati.
Fantastic.
And that's one of the most important awards to us, because it's saying that our workforce sees that there's purpose and meaning behind what we do every day, and they want to be a part of that to drive that profitability, because that's what allows us to stay in business.
Great. So we kind of almost out of time here, but if you could just touch on what's next for Thrive, and if anyone is interested who's watching, wants to learn more about Thrive, where can they go?
You can head to our website, which is thrivecincinnati.com. That's one place to take a look. We're on social media as well, so you could always follow us that way. As far as what's next for Thrive, given that we blew away our forecast model, all of our plans, and we're now close to 75 people. We really don't know what that growth trajectory looks like for us, to be honest. We are setting out to, provide great IT services for clients, both locally as well as potentially nationally. So we certainly see potential for replicating this model in other geographies. And as long as there's client support for the outsourcing services we provide, and transforming lives. So, there's not a number tied to it. There's not, those type of metrics that we're tying to it. It's really about the opportunity and continue to do what we do.
Great. No, I think that's fantastic. So thank you so much for joining me. It's been a great conversation. And so if anyone who's watching is interested in helping organizations like Thrive do good in the world and pursue profit with purpose, please donate to our Entrepreneurs Development Fund at www.gsc3sawards.com/donate. In addition to your donation, we encourage you to check out the other interviews and videos on our YouTube page. You can subscribe and tune in for the next episode of our What's Your Story, checking the 3S Award winners, which we'll be posting shortly. So thank you so much again, Kelly and Michael. It was a great conversation. I'm really excited to see what happens next at Thrive.
Thanks for having us.
Take care.
Bye.